Hey y'all, welcome to Off the Beaten Path. My name is Kush.
My name is Breezy. On our podcast, we explore the great outdoors and the Second Amendment with a blend of culture,
comedy, and conversation. And oh yeah,
come back to me.
All right, folks. Hey, so this last season's been rolling out pretty freaking dope.
Yep.
That was all that SHOT Show. Now we're at the NRA.
What do we got? Yep. And where?
In H-Town.
Hold it down.
So, folks, this season is starting off with an amazing guest. We love this guy. I can introduce him. Breezy can introduce him, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Pew Culture, my brother.
What up? Pleasure to be here. You guys have always been just a staple in the community, making sure y'all highlight some really dope individuals. I don't even know how I ended up here because, the caliber of people. The caliber of people that you guys, highlight in the space is always humbling. You know what I'm saying? So
Thank you, bro.
You guys do good
Thank
work.
you.
And there was no place I would rather start off my experience at NRM.
Podcasting here.
Man,
we
thank
appreciate
you for that,
bro.
Yeah.
So, we know your story.
Mm-hmm.
The goal of our podcast is to bring people into the industry. We want to talk about, obviously, how us as minorities are coming into the space, because it wasn't during COVID is when it really blew up, right?
Yeah.
There's been a big exodus during, I want to say since the mid-2010s, but since COVID, it really blew up. And then your career, as I know you're really in the industry,
Yeah.
but your influencer content too,
Yeah.
has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
How'd you get into the space, bro?
Honestly, it came from a pure consumer, initiated from a pure consumer standpoint, right? So I started off just shooting my little brother. We're shooting on a farm, and together just really bonding because we have an age gap, serious age gap. So that's
How big is the age gap?
I think I was like 19 when he was born.
When he was born?
Yeah. So
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Shout out to having parents from the islands.
getting it.
Yeah.
So, we have a serious age gap. So shooting was something that we both found interesting and cool, and that we could bond over that, despite our age gap. So we would always, every weekend, we would go, make it a thing to go shooting together.
Yeah.
And I would record that because it's me and my brother. It's like a priceless moment, right?
Yeah.
And once in a while, I would share that a little bit on Facebook, just a little bit, and that started gathering attention. Nothing too crazy, but when you're not even thinking about social media, and you start seeing like a few hundred people look at your stuff, you're like, oh, like who are these people?
Yeah.
And then it started growing till it went from 100 people to 100,000 people. To
now 100 million.
100 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
let's get some. Let's get some.
Let's get. Which one's
get
the
some
horn?
love for that.
I think this one's the horn. I got to pressure myself. That's the cheers.
All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, we gotta get. Come on.
Big up yourself.
So rewind real quick. How did you get into what was your first experience with a firearm?
So. I'm from the islands.
Yeah.
My first experience with firearms was nothing honorable.
Yeah.
Nothing honorable. We were young, we were wild, we were doing reckless things because of lack of education.
That's it.
So
because of lack of education.
Lack of education, lack of exposure, lack of guidance from parents, because let's talk about the fact that minority groups have been programmed to believe that guns are bad. Programmed.
That's
right?
it. Yeah.
So, so then they avoid prepping their children, because as a parent, what is your main objective and role as a parent is to prepare your child to face the world, right? And I think parents fail at that in the minority groups on a large scale by not preparing their children to face something that they will face regardless.
Yeah.
Firearms. This is in the world. This is, this is everywhere. Whether you're in the United States where you can have firearms legally, or you're in another country, or you're in a third world country, you're gonna face these things.
Yeah.
And parents are so, have been taught to be so scared of these things. Why is that? Because historically, our oppressors didn't want us to know or have the power to wield these things.
Yeah.
So they programmed us to be afraid of these things.
Yeah.
They were bad. They were terrible. If you go to any minority group, whether you go to the Latino community, the Black community, anyone who served, as either, slaves or indentured servants under the European rule, one thing you'll find in common is all these groups are afraid of firearms.
That's a fact.
That's no coincidence.
That's a fact.
That's no coincidence. When the exact people who really fostered this culture of firearms are so into firearms, they teach their kids from very young. So why is it that the minority groups are so scared of it? It's not a coincidence. This is not like some cultural thing. This
It's
is
by design.
This is by design, right?
Yeah.
So we were taught not to be. Sorry, can I curse on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been holding back words. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
yeah. No, be yourself, bro.
But we were taught not to do it, and that's not. When I say that, I'm not knocking anyone now, because if you're Caucasian now, like, it wasn't you who did this. You know what I'm saying? I want to be very clear about that.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah.
This is how we got here.
It's 2026. We're here now.
This is how we got here.
A lot of these conversations, the 2A is for everyone.
Exactly.
That's it.
I don't want anyone to feel like I'm knocking. I'm attacking any group or saying I blame you or this. I'm just stating the fact on how we got from where we were to where we are. Right. And that's how we got here. And that's 100% why I was wiling in my teens with firearms.
Yep.
Because I didn't have the preparation to not wile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's the same, because bro, me and my brother grew up, in a rough part of town, bro.
Yeah.
That's our story, bro.
Yeah.
I just shared a post about the Pearl 38 special.
Yeah.
That was our first. First gun. We were 15. Like, some of our friends realized, like, man, these dudes are crazy. And it's not like that, that we're crazy. We're going to explore these firearms, by any means necessary. And now the story, I've repeated it every season now, but, I have a concealed carry because of Breezy when we opened up our business.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% on par with you. So how does that fuel you now? Because I think anybody in the space who knows you and knows about your presence knows exactly what you do.
Yeah.
But for like the newcomers coming in, tell them, let's jump a little bit. Let's tell them how your trigger, how the experience going from different ranges, you're bringing people into the space.
So in general, even beyond like the trigger or anything like that, how I really, I guess, blew up in the space was because when I started to get access to certain things, and actually, let's take it back. When I came into the space, there was 100% gatekeep culture.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning that if guys had nice things, they made sure that you knew that wasn't for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And again, not knocking anyone, because I think everybody has the right to act and feel however the fuck they want.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
I'm not someone to bitch about how the world is.
Yeah.
I change it.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah.
Hold on.
You're going to find it.
Let's
Yeah.
get the applause going.
You know what I'm saying?
It's almost done here. Hold on. I'll fade it out. There we go.
I'm not gonna sit here and bitch and moan about, the world should be this way or the world should be that way. I can change. I don't play the hands I'm dealt. I switch the cards.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're going to find your lane, and you found your lane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I created a world that I wanted to live in my two-way space.
Yeah.
That's it. Point blank. Right? So funny enough, when I would, even guys who come from that gatekeep culture, now I've created my own lane, when they want to hang out and they want to go to the range with me, and now they have, super expensive guns, and they see me take my super expensive gun and just hand them to complete strangers and be like, you need to try this.
Yeah.
Now they're looking and they're like, you want to try mine?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
So
dope.
we're changing culture, right? And that's how I went from, into Pew Culture, because I came in to change culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's it. Pushing it forward. So I know we're kind of jumping around. When was it that it switched? Like, this can be my business.
Woo. So initially, when I started, gathering all this attention, people would hit me up, and I started seeing a common thing where people would say to me, well, you're in the industry, so you think, and I would respond like, I'm not in the industry. I'm just like you.
Yeah.
I'm just a consumer, right? And I was in the military at the time.
Thank you for your service,
thank you
bro.
for that,
Hats
brother.
off, hats
Thank
off.
you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Navy corpsman, doing my thing, every day. And, but the reality is as service members don't earn a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So, and certain challenges come with that naturally. I'm doing my thing. People would start saying, you're in the industry, and I'm showing up to work every day, and I'm thinking, one day it hits me. Why am I fighting these people telling me that I'm in the industry? What if I just embrace it? And that moment just changed, and I just started embracing it.
Let's go.
And
That's dope.
from then, my life changed.
Yeah.
When was that? Like, what year are we talking?
I was still in, so it was definitely pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably right at the brink of the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was funny enough. So some viewer supporter really one day, I don't specifically remember who it was.
Yeah.
But one of you people who DM'd me changed my perspective.
Yeah.
Just one day I was just like, why am I fighting this? I was like, when you're typing a response to someone and you stop
Yeah.
and you're like, why do I keep doing this?
Yeah.
I keep shutting this down.
Yeah.
Why am I blocking my blessing? You know what I'm saying?
Man, let's go,
Yeah.
bro.
I love that.
And when you really step into what you're called to do, bro,
Yeah.
that's where you flourish.
Yeah.
And you've definitely flourished.
And my life has changed significantly ever since, bro. Just to be clear, I don't have any formal education. I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
I didn't do all the things that we're taught to do.
Yeah.
I just embraced my calling. That was
Yeah.
it.
That's it,
That
bro.
was it.
Yeah.
And my life changed ever since.
Yeah.
So now let's fast forward a little bit. Let's take us back to 2 years ago? Pew Party. We got to talk about Pew Party because actually so many things were born out of Pew Party.
Very
I want to
much so.
tip my hat off to the brothers from We the People.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all. We love what y'all are doing, pushing the culture forward.
Yeah.
That's what we're about. But let's talk about Pew Party because that was an event that the space hadn't seen anything like that. Well, we also have a regular meetup.
Yep,
Yeah.
So
yep.
shout out to Lito, shout out my brother.
Yep.
But talk about Pew Party, bro.
So Pew Party, so Jay the Shooter
Shout out Jay.
reached out to me on Instagram. I shoot on a farm in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
I shoot on my own farm, right? And because of this massive space that I have, Jay thought I was in Texas. Jay lives in Virginia, right? I live in Virginia. So Jay hits me up and he's like, hey, I love what you're doing. I'd love to come visit and shoot with you sometime. I'm always in Texas. I'm like, at this point, I had never even been to Texas, So I was like, okay, well, why are you going to Texas?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I want to come shoot with you. And I go, I'm in Virginia. He was like, no, shit, I'm in Virginia. I'm like, yeah. So we linked up, and Jay wanted to do something together. Now, he had ideas about doing, multiple things. He was doing lowers. He was doing all kinds of stuff. And, I kept shutting all those suggestions down. And I said, we have to do an event together.
Yeah.
If there's anything, we do an event. Because in my opinion, I had been doing smaller things on my property where I would just invite people out, 50 people, everybody come out, shout out to DMV shooters from the DMV area.
DMV.
Those guys would come out, groups of people would come out and shoot with me. And I saw just that access to that level of freedom,
Yeah.
how it impacted people, how their perspective, their energy, their aura changed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you get almost like a high from providing that feeling to people.
Yeah.
And I said I wanted to do it on a bigger scale. So we started off the first Pew Party backyard in Virginia. Some real just real root shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ground up type.
And that, I mean, we had my boy So Irie out here doing, managing parking, like it was just some straight backyard barbecue type shit.
Yeah.
Right? But that shit went crazy viral. You know what I'm
Real.
saying? If you've ever seen Tactical Turkeys,
Yeah, of course.
their page literally was born out of Pew Party 1. I
Really?
think that one video did like 100-something million views for them. Or
That's
something like that. The 50 cal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So, a lot of crazy moments came from that. And then out of that, we started getting, companies started reaching out like, how do we get an invite?
Yeah, yeah.
And so that birthed Pew Party 2, which went from just a backyard
Small
experience.
gathering. Yeah.
You came to a legit industry event.
Yeah.
We had like every major manufacturer there. Booths like you see at NRA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We had legit, it had just not been done on that scale by us.
Yeah.
And we were able to bring that to the industry.
Where was that one at?
That was in Orlando, Claremont, Florida.
Oh, that was our backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was in Orlando.
Because we went to Pew Party 3.
Yeah, in Texas.
Yeah.
And then, let's even fast forward to Pew Party 3. I mean, we had multiple helicopters.
Oh, yeah.
We had one guy request to come in on his private helicopter to the event. And
That
we
would've
had to
been dope.
shut that down because we already had 2 helicopters going back and forth super
ripping.
fast, shooting guns.
Yeah.
And for safety reasons, as cool as it would have been, we had we had a lot going on.
Great choppers. Yeah.
Yo.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but the whole premise of the event was bringing experiences that typically minority groups look at their phone and they only consume these experiences from their phone.
That's it.
And that had traditionally just not been something that they had access to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, we wanted to take those experiences and make them for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just, you didn't have to
And
be
look,
somebody.
Look who we went to Pew Party 3 with.
Yeah.
Someone that had never been around
Bro.
a gun, never touched a gun.
So this guy
Grew up in a culture that was afraid of guns. The police and the bad guys had guns.
Yep.
Colombian.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he used to work for us when we had the recording studio.
Yep.
And he walks up to us. He's like, guys, is it okay if I shoot? We're like, yeah. Let's go
Yeah.
tell somebody. I don't know how to shoot. He's like,
He went to Ross Martin.
yeah,
He was
went
with
to Ross
those. Yeah.
Martin. He's like, really?
Shout out to Ross Martin.
Shout out Ross Martin.
Chris and his team.
And he was like very like very timid. We're like, go, bro. They'll teach you. It's okay. You don't have to know any. Tell them you've never shot a gun before.
Yep.
And you could see him. We're just watching him, and he first couple times, that, and he came back. He's like, when you said that you saw people change and their aura change at the Pew Party, we witnessed that firsthand from him, and he was like,
he wouldn't stop talking about
that's all he talked
On
about
our way
after that.
back to the crib.
I gotta get a gun.
I gotta be the best. I want to be
John Wick.
John Wick. We're like, slow down,
We're like
bro.
one step at a
Take
time, bro.
Yeah, take
But to
your
see
time.
that from being shy and timid and nervous about it to feeling
Ignited.
empowered and ignited when he walked away, and we could see it like that, like
He
a
told
light
us,
switch.
He's like, bro, I thought it was illegal.
Yeah.
Because he was going through the citizenship process. He got his citizenship.
Yeah.
So he's not an illegal alien.
Yeah, me too.
Let me. Yeah. Let's go.
Chopper.
Gang.
Shout out to Chopper.
Yeah, shout out to Chopper. And so he was like, yo, I didn't know I could shoot.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know I could own one.
Yep.
So that's the level of influence and impact that like we're having.
Yeah.
Not only us as a business, but even you for what you're doing. That's like, I don't think people realize like the level of it, right?
Yeah.
Because the only people who really know about their gun rights are the people who know about it.
Facts.
You don't know what you don't know.
Shout out to all the 3-letter agencies watching this, trying to press us. We good. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like
That's it.
ATF, ICE. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, we
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're super Gucci.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Ain't
what I'm
none of
saying?
us running.
And we got
No.
motherfucking lawyers. No fuck with us. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out
Hold
our
on,
boy
let me-
Mark Chopper. Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what that is. Shout out Mark Chopper. You know,
Yeah.
Big
a
chop.
living weapon.
Yeah.
Stop playing with him.
Mind, body, and soul.
That's
You
it.
know.
Remember, what was it, last year or the year before? The ATF kicked
Yeah.
his house in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So, to the Alphabet Boys, we know our rights. We're
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all watching this shit now? I don't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We good. You know
You
what I'm saying?
gotta,
good.
look at the camera when you say
Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah. You know, Mark. You know, don't let me get Mark.
Yeah. Yo, Slim.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get a lawyer right after this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit Chopper up.
Yeah.
So now let's fast forward a little bit from Pew Party 3.
Yeah.
The Taurus,
Yeah.
the TX22.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Like, what was that idea behind that? Because it was born. So real quick, let's go back a little bit. For y'all that are listening, we by accident flew out of the same exact city in Florida. So, Doll, you want me to call you Doll?
That's cool.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So Doll, he goes to Florida a lot. He was in Orlando, and our flight to come here connected
In Orlando.
And so we were walking on. I was like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He looks up. He goes, yo. And we all sat in the front, not because we got money, but because we're bougie. We need space.
Yeah, we are.
And so we're in the front, busting the balls of the airline people. We're having fun and all that. And my son, I remember hearing my son say, Dad, have you seen those TX22 videos? I was like, yeah. I said, yo, that's my homie who does all that. He's like, what? So we're at baggage claim. I FaceTime my son and say, yo, this is my boy Juan, right? He's the one who does all the, and he was like, what? So talk to us about what was the idea behind that.
Well, I have multiple things to address.
Yes.
First of all, we was clowning the fucking pilot.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he was.
He was strong.
He looked
Yeah.
like he was gonna rip the whatever that thing is off.
Yep. We was clowning the pilot.
throttle.
You know,
The throttle. The thruster.
So, and when we took off, you could tell his muscles was engaged.
Oh, yeah, he was like-
Yeah.
Everyone lock in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But so TX22, that's a long story. It goes back to even like when the original Gen 1 was launched.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know, but we were the ones who brought the TX22 to optic ready status, right?
Okay.
The first Gen 1 did not mount an optic to the slide, and at that time there was no 22 pistol that mounted optic to a reciprocating slide. We brought that to the market. Taurus hit us up, you know, and that's when our relationship was born with Taurus. We showed them what we did. You know, next thing you know, the Gen 1.5 comes out with an optic ready version. You know, it's, you know, we actually sent some to Taurus so they could check out, you know what I'm saying? A beautiful relationship was born. Shout out my dude Chan.
Yeah,
You know,
shout out Chan. That's our brother.
Let's go.
shout out George. Shout out Grant.
Yeah,
No longer
Grant.
with Taurus, but
Yeah.
Grant is
Yep. Shout
another
out.
real one.
Yep.
Everybody over there, man, super dope team at Taurus.
Yep.
We started something together that has now grown into something just unfathomable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And trust me, guys, we're working on dope things for the future as well. Big things to come. But, you know, we started something that just blew up. Probably the most sold gun towards in the fourth quarter, at least.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quarter
Oh, yeah.
25.
Oh, yeah. Got
You couldn't avoid that.
Hands
No.
down, probably
That-
the most
we
sold.
saw
And there
that
was a couple
everywhere.
videos that were everywhere.
Yeah,
But
everywhere.
there was one like, what's the old dude?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey, man, you know that's if they catch you with that, yeah.
Yep.
And then
You know,
what was the edit? What did you cut to on that?
Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, we gotta get whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. And then
So, you know, I mean, it was like I dropped an album, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Taurus is over 200,000 units back ordered right now.
Wow.
You know,
that's
that's
hold on. That's
Yeah.
All right. That's,
somebody's going to be in the comments, you know, like, oh, are you getting paid?
yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Gucci.
You know what I'm saying? We was front seat.
Yeah. On Spirit.
On Spirit, though, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see.
You know, another thing we have to address is that as we get into the space, we also have to understand that there's a business aspect of this
Yeah.
that we
100%.
must be, you know, aware of, right? And you have to make sure you're taking care of business. And trust me, we take care of business.
Yeah.
So because at the end of the day, we're all here. These things cost money, and we have to make sure that we're fueling that fire by taking care of the
100%.
business end as well as the entertainment side of it.
And
right?
pushing this industry forward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know,
More of us into the
That's
space
it.
because if we got all this money to spend on Jordans
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
and name brand, go get you a piece for the house.
That's
exactly.
it.
Go get you a license to carry if you need one in your
Yeah.
state. Thank God we live in Florida.
Yep.
We're not right now in the great state of Texas, so you know it's just an extension of your property. But if you live in a state that requires a permit, go get one.
Facts.
Yeah, go get one. Just go get one. Get your house ready
Yeah.
for whatever. Because like you said, in the minority communities, we're familiar with them, but from the other perspective.
Exactly.
Like, oh, it's dangerous. You're either a cop or you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Facts.
And we ain't both.
Yeah.
And he's
No,
even as a white dude in the burbs, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first pistol I saw was a street burner.
Yeah.
Breezy
You know?
White? You didn't tell me Breezy
No,
was white.
Okay, I'm lying. My pop, outside of hunting in that environment, the first pistol I saw, the 38 or the 380. It had a 38 in it.
Yeah,
Either way,
that's it.
you know.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
Nah, but so going back to TX22. So TX22, I don't scan the internet, right? I typically just get on there, drop some shit, get off.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like be hitting me like, you saw this? I don't be seeing shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I am so caught up in stuff that I'm doing. Everything is, I take a moment, I go, I put some shit up, and I leave.
Yeah.
The most I'll do is you'll see me responding to a lot of comments messages, because that's where a lot of my customer base reaches out, right?
Yeah.
So I try my best to respond to as much as possible. I'm only one person, so I can only do so much, right? So if I didn't respond to you, it's no shade, but there's a flood of messages. I'm trying to do my best, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I spend my time. Somebody that I know out of Georgia sends me a message and shows me this teaser for a TX22 FRT.
There it is. Here we go.
I go, holy shit. But I look at all the clips and none of it sports a suppressor. I needed to know why. So I reached out to Andrew from Freedom Fingers, directly, and I was like, hey, and shout out to having a little bit of like clout that you can just reach out to people and they respond. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Because there's a time where you reach out to people and they don't respond. You know what I'm saying? So, I reached out to him directly and I said, yo, I love what I see here, but I noticed that not one of it sports a suppressor. Why is that? They're like, that's for me, you ever heard the term, don't you think that's suspicious?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course.
why? Like, it's 22. That's like 22 and suppression.
that's like peanut butter and jelly.
You can't do it. If you out here rocking a 22 without a suppressor, you ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to get right. You fucking up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, why? So why aren't they running a suppressor? And somebody's gonna comment, oh well, I want to hear the noise. Then you going to jail. Because I can do that shit in my backyard.
Yeah.
I have shot 22, like, cop cars going by, and just to prove a point, I'll show my friends that, look, cop car going by. Nothing. No response.
Yeah.
That's why. 22, get a suppressor. Don't be ghetto. All right. So, Andrew, I said to Andrew, why is that? He says, well, I can't get it to run, this. I think it's a slide weight issue. So I said, hey, if you don't mind sending me an early version, let me work on that, right? And we made a deal that if I figured it out, then you would let me have that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work with you on marketing, but you let me have that.
Yeah.
And we basically did a gentleman's deal, no contract, but a gentleman's deal.
Handshake.
And shout out to Andrew, because he has been solid the whole time,
dope.
bro. He ain't never switched up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
shout out to him.
shout out to Andrew, Freedom Fingers. Go get it. Pew Culture, discount code. Do your thing, right? You need it. Trust me.
Yeah.
But Andrew kept it solid, man. And, so he sent it out. I did my testing, had the solution.
Wow.
Initially, the solution looked a little different, but I needed to make it something that was drop-in for everyone.
Yeah.
Initially, you had to send us your slide, and we would do some work to it, and it would get you right. But then I'm sitting here, and I'm like, well, how do we make it like you can just order it online? I sent it to you, and it's plug and play. And we came up with the rate-reducing charge and handle, and that went crazy.
Yeah, that's the one that's like...
We haven't been able to keep that in stock since the day we launched. We haven't. There's no time that this thing has been like you can go on there and just order it and it just ships next day. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Because the demand is so high, we haven't been able to keep up with it. So if you're thinking about getting a rate reducer, the best time is now, because you need to get in line, because they don't ship right away.
AKA the sooner the better.
That's
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Yep. So
Well, that's when y'all know you hit a sweet spot too.
Absolutely.
That's when you know.
Yeah.
Yep. You guys can go to moonlightmachineworks.com. Get on there. You can get your rate reducer. Also, some pretty cool products coming down the line as well.
Yeah.
But that product has gone crazy. And sometimes I'll just open the app and I'll see a video and it'll be like a little baddie, you know what I'm saying, with a little booty,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
and she busting something, and then I'm like, rate reducer. It's in the video.
It's in the video.
I'm like,
Yo, that's us.
Fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
That's my rate reducer right there. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
That's dope,
that's
bro.
like it's like an amazing full circle moment.
Yeah.
Like think about how we started this conversation and you getting into the industry and now we're talking
Now
about.
you're penetrating the space, still
Amazing. Yeah.
continue to grow and expand.
So
Yeah.
what's next, bro?
So I'm not at liberty to speak on it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
You know, but I can assure you that there's some big stuff
Let's go.
on the table. You
Let's go.
know, being worked on. And you know, I don't want to speak my blessings. You know, before
Sure.
the actual
100%.
material.
Yeah.
Word to the Bible.
Yeah,
that
that's
is
it.
real, bro.
That's it.
You know, I don't want to speak my blessings before it actually materializes. But always trust that I am never asleep, bro. I'm never never slacking. You know what I'm saying?
But you look
Yeah,
pretty
we see
rested.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Hey, you know why?
So wait,
let me tell you
wait.
why.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
tell you why I look
That-
rested. Though.
Yeah.
Because I thought the show started a day before, so I got a rest day.
Same. We all flew in together.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, we're at 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
switch gears real quick?
Talk to me.
Island. Can we talk some music real quick, bro?
Mhm. Talk to me.
What's like? Give me some. What's your top 10, bro? Like any genre. What do you?
That top 10 is too long of a list.
Okay, 5.
Top 5.
Top
Right.
5.
What
Any
genre are you
genre.
listening to? Like, what's your default?
Yeah.
preference?
I'm big on reggae dancehall.
Okay. Okay.
Selector.
Vibes Cartel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The Teacher.
Shout out, the boy's free.
Yeah.
The boy is free.
You know, another one, maybe not a specific genre or just the artist, but a specific album, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Oh,
my,
bro, when you
know,
said that's like I dropped the album, that's the album I
yeah,
thought of.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, Get Rich or Die Trying is one of those, you know, if we go to a specific song, Jay-Z, You Don't Know, is something that I listen to like every day.
Yeah.
I wake
Yeah.
up and that's like my gospel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shadow
You know,
boxing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I sell ice in the winter.
Yeah. So
I
fire.
sell fire in hell.
Yep.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm a hustler, baby.
I'm
Sell
a hustler.
water
You know
to
what I'm
what?
saying? To
To
a
a
well.
well.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, that's a song that I listen to on a regular basis. You know, sometimes I'm not even tuned into a specific artist,
Yeah.
but a specific song that they wrote.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just speaks to me.
Yeah, that's cool, bro.
Yeah, we all have that song we keep on repeat for sure.
Like I'm not a Meek Mill fan, but I can recite "Started Off Poor with Plans to Own More."
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what was our thing all last year while we traveled?
Yeah.
We wake up, yo, bro, good morning. Power the speaker on. And then it's thicker than water.
Yeah, that's oh man, 50
50
Cent.
Yeah.
Come on.
How to rob too?
Yeah.
How to rob, but
Yeah.
look at
We
bro.
have a designated 50 Cent road trip playlist.
Yeah.
It's just
There's an old track, Slow Dough. I don't know if you know Slow Dough. It's a really old track from 50, but it
I bet
started.
my brother knows it.
I'm
started
sure
off-
it sounds like a mixtape joint.
It starts off by saying, "Put me to any test. I bet you I pass because I'm a cheater.
Yeah.
Niggas smoke niggas. Rich niggas smoke cohibas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
bro. Listen.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
There's so much, bro.
Okay.
So-
I know. I
Wait,
popped
hold
that
on.
seal at the end. It's tough.
It's all right. It's
Yeah.
all right. Because
Yeah.
I'm going to change pace now.
Yeah.
What's your EDC?
EDC Glock 43X. Not for any reason, but I've had it since like back since like 2016.
Oh, reliable.
3X
It just
single
runs.
stack.
Yeah.
Single stack.
Well, I use the Shield Arms mags
Okay.
to make it,
So-
make
yeah.
it 1.5 stack.
Yeah, cool.
So I still get the capacity of a Glock 19.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's what I carry on,
All right.
on a
Stock,
regular basis.
like pretty much outside of that, just
you know, we do machining, so we
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
a little
Okay.
jazz to it.
little jazz.
You know, but nothing too crazy. Dave Mods on the Stippling.
Yep.
You know, RMRCC. Honestly, that's because of then. Currently now, I'd probably go with a Hollow Sun EPS carry or even an O-Sight. O-Sight has been doing some really good
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
O-Sight's
yeah.
been,
That's a fact.
You know, like I don't think it's publicly you can't be like, it's not cool to be like, shout out to China.
you know what I'm saying?
China.
You know,
Yeah.
China.
So man, we got it in, bro. I think we covered all the bases today. Yeah, for
So
sure.
let people know where they can find
Yeah.
you.
All right, so Pew Culture on Instagram, Pew Policies on YouTube, Facebook One Draw, and Moonlight Machine Works for the radio show, you can go to moonlightmachineworks.com. Red Hat Armament for Pew Policies. We didn't even talk about Pew Policies,
Bro,
but
I
it's
was just gonna say we didn't even talk about the video that went crazy.
Yeah.
They can find it on the page. It's on all your pages.
You go to Pew Policies on YouTube or Pew Culture,
Okay.
and you can see Pew Policies at work. You need it too.
That's how you fly with your firearm. And
They
just go to his
pressed the
YouTube
wrong guy.
and watch him give the business to the airports.
I just
they
got too
pressed
much
the wrong
going
guy.
on. We just
That's
can't
it.
cover it in half an hour.
it.
We
Yeah.
have to do another one.
Yeah, we'll be part 2.
We'll do
part
one in
2.
Florida, chilling.
That's it. All right, folks.
All
And
right,
like
that's
always,
it.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to our brother Doll for coming on to the show. And yeah, man.
Stay tapped
subscribe,
in.
share,
That's it. Like
you
it,
love,
don't like it.
and go get you a pistol and go outside and do
That's
some fun
it.
Shit. All right.
Empower yourself.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.